Hope it's working. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Dr. Despoina Farmaki. Dr. Ilias, Kapsis, and I are both from City Law School, and today I will present findings from our study on generative AI literacy and assessment in legal education, focusing on how tools like ChatGPT, Claude, Copilot, and Lexis Plus AI are reshaping legal education. Let's begin with the current perceptions of generative AI in the legal field. As scholars like Malik and Dai have highlighted, generative AI is both powerful and problematic. It can mimic expertise, but often is erratic, is inaccurate, and unregulated. Despite this, it's becoming increasingly popular in legal practice and education. Some statistics. According to the 2025 Happy Student Survey, over 60% of students have used ChatGPT for generating text, with over 50% admitting that they have used it for assessments to explain concepts, with 48% to summarize a relevant article. Now, over 60% of students acknowledge that to thrive in today's world, it's essential to understand and be able to use AI effectively, but unfortunately, only 35% of them believe that their institutions have given them support to improve these skills. Now, City Law School also ran a survey earlier this year, and the results are very, very similar to these ones. The majority of students have used AI for these purposes. As we previously saw, law firms adopt generative AI tools, and therefore students must learn to work with, not against this technology. The next generation of law students is what we call the AI-empowered law student is already emerging. Law is becoming more complex, fast evolving, and increasingly shaped by automation and emerging technologies, as we all know. And our students use generative AI mostly as a research assistant. Common tasks include summarization, drafting, identifying key cases using trusted databases. Generative AI can be effective in synthesizing knowledge, but its output depends on the quality and the scope of the data it draws from. But can generative AI act as a legal expert? And the answer is, as of today, no. Studies suggest it performs really, really well with descriptive legal tasks, but not so well with context-specific advice. It also inherits human biases and makes similar errors to us only more confidently. To test this, we posed a contract law scenario to various tools, generative AI tools. This is a contract law problem question. I will not bore you with contract law exams, but this deals with breach of contract and damages. And let's see how AI performed. As we can see here, ChatGPT produced a plausible response, but missed critical case law. It also made incorrect legal claims and provided incorrect legal advice regarding expectation and reliance losses. So it did not take into account the issue of double recovery. Copilot, very, very similarly, lacked references to key precedents and misrepresented important legal principles. Claude did the same. No references and incorrect application and evaluation of legal principles. So we can see what Claude recommended. But Lexis Plus AI performed really, really well. It highlighted relevant sources and in fact provided legal reasoning. So that's the only tool that actually did that. An overview of our findings. Obviously, we can all see that AI is able to research large volumes of data, legislation, and cases, and is able to identify patterns in trends and compliance in legislation. However, it missed landmark case law. 3 out of 4 AI tools actually had this weakness. Also, they provided incorrect or even misleading advice. It lacked critical legal evaluation and contextual application and failed to handle complex, multi-layered resources. So what it tells us, so basically general tools, ChatGPT, Copilot, and even Claude, are more accessible, but often lack depth and miss key legal details. Lexis Plus AI is more accurate, and it's better suited to professional legal tasks, but might be less helpful for our students as they need more simplified explanations. Now, a natural concern. What about appropriate use of AI? What about transparency? What about integrity? Does the use of AI amount to plagiarism and academic misconduct? It's important to reflect. What's the aim of the anti-plagiarism policies? Number 1 is to advance authenticity and obviously to acknowledge the external sources, the original sources, arguments, and ideas. But AI does not seem to contradict these aims. AI itself admits it's just a tool. It can assist with the heavy lifting, but the judgment must remain with a human user. A possible way forward, a vision, is what it's called generative synthesis, where AI generates ideas, but students guide the research, refine the arguments, and uphold ethical and academic standards. In fact, AI becomes a brainstorming partner, not the final authority. This approach requires partnership between humans and machines. First, the student would define the research scope. Then the AI would help generate early drafts, early ideas and materials, but the student would then critically evaluate their work, check for integrity, check for compliance, and would refine the final submission. Some reflections on this model, this vision. Obviously, it fosters a continuous re-engagement between students and AI, to the extent that the individual contribution of the student would become indistinguishable and inseparable. That would augment the student's knowledge and research skills, not to mention the increased efficiency and legal creativity. But it seems that in parts the student would be just a third-party observer, like a peer reviewer. And oftentimes the lines between drafting assistant and co-authored might become more blurred. We might also experience a degradation of students' analytical skills over time. So this model basically describes a future where AI is used to augment the law students' skills and productivity. What does this mean for assessments and assessment design? As we all know, generative AI can easily handle FHEQ level 4 and 5. So that's year 1 and year 2 of the undergrad, descriptive questions. But really struggles when we ask students to evaluate, to apply and make reasoned judgments. Assessments must now evolve to test these higher order thinking skills, not just memorization. Obviously, knowledge remains paramount, but now the emphasis should shift towards the process of learning, application, and towards a broader skill set, including digital literacy. A way forward would be this two-tier assessment. So this is a practice adopted by Australian universities. We have secure assessments invigilated and supervised on the one hand, and open assessments to promote scaffolding learning and to allow the use of AI. This open type of assessment also aligns with Bloom's taxonomy, but obviously shifting from remember this, explain that, to evaluate, to create. This makes it harder for generative AI to generate a passable answer and in fact encourages deeper student engagement. Thank you so much for your attention. Feel free to reach out to me and Ilias.